Sorry about that, guys. When Joseph got off, he knocked everybody off. So hopefully you guys are smart enough to come back on. Obviously you are. We are back in control. Just for future reference, guys, if you get on here to get on this live Zoom, you don't have to come on early. Let me put it that way. If you come on at 3 minutes or 5 minutes before I start, then that causes a problem. But if you do, just notice what you're clicking. If you click host mode or something like that, then you basically commandeer the host mode and no one else I can't record or anything. Not a big deal, but it kind of holds everybody up. All right, guys, we're going to get started here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me just move this over here, share my screen. A lot going on in crypto land today. All right, guys. Let me share my screen. Bitcoin on the daily time frame. Changing to the daily. Everybody hear me okay?
Yes,
Loud and
sir.
clear.
Good, good.
You're
Yep,
good.
gotcha.
All right. Generally speaking, guys, whenever we come up like this and we break a resistance level, a support level, and retest, we drop. We come up like this, hold support, break it, and drop. Come up like this, hold support, come up even higher, hold support, break it, hold support, break it. Well, not only did we break this support at the 112, but we broke this upward trending support here. And I would say that not only did we break it and come back up and retest, but this long candle right here came all the way down to 105, 105.2 today. And it is bouncing a little bit. It's back up to 106.7. But if it breaks and holds under the 106, I will say that we're probably going to drop down to the 97, 98K range. That's probably what's in store here. And I know I said that the other day because here is my signal. BTC. This was 1031. 1031 was Friday. Broke below the upward trending support and is now retesting as resistance. If we cannot get back above this resistance line, then we can drop down to 97, 98K level. I am reversing my BTC long just on my BTC margin account to hedge this bet. Entry 1099, that's where it was at the time. We broke this downward trending, this upward trending support and then retested it. And we also had this downward trending, which we came up and kind of held. Now we did go through that, but we never got back up above this line. And very similarly, well, on XRP, looks like it broke support. So we had a downward trending support here, but this line obviously could be moved, just depends on the angle. And obviously it is still correlating with Bitcoin. So it's coming down a little bit right now. It just dropped. We're going to go over that here in a second. So in the short term, this is bearish, unfortunately. After we hit this high right here at the 126, which was the all-time high, if I get rid of this upward trending line and just look at this from a every time we hit highs and then we break the support, This is the support. This is the resistance. Once we break support, we drop. This is the support really. Climb, 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 climb. We break it. And so it is possible that we just drop down to this line, this upward trending support line going all the way back. And I hope that's it. I hope that's all we need to do is bounce off that to get our next big run to the upside. There's a lot going on in the world, but I am short on that BTC still. I did place a long hedge just in case, but I'm going to probably close that out. And XRP, I did give that long signal on XRP because it seemed to be, I think it was right here. No, I didn't give it here. I was long from way back here, right here on the 31st as well from that bounce. And here it looked like it was breaking out. So let's go back and look at that. That breakout that I thought it was breaking out of is not this downward trending. It was this most recent spike. Let me just go to a lower time frame and show you. I got to do this on a coin margin. Oops. So let's see. I think on that last drawing that I gave, I had like a downward trending. This is what it looked like. Let me get rid of all this other stuff. And it broke out and it looked like it retested somewhere. Can't remember where, right here. Started to climb up. And then this is what happened since Friday. It dropped back down, right back down to that level. And really, this is probably more where that line should have been. It should have been up here at the all-time high, and it should have been touching the tops of all of these. And that was resistance. So it did not break through. I mean, there could have been a line here. You could say that there is somewhat of a resistance, breakthrough, test, support, and bounce. But that may not have been where the accurate line should have been, probably right there. Hit it again, lower high, and then dropped back down to this level, which is this line right here, going all the way back at the 240 range, and then bounced, and then got trapped in between the 240 support and this upward trending support, coming all the way back to the big dip when we dropped all the way down to whatever we did, 120, 126. But when we bounced back up from that 126, we had one more long wick right here. That's where I'm putting this line. And then touching it here and here and here. So we bounced on it. We went through it. We hit the support at 240 and then bounced and got trapped inside there. And we retested this one more time and then dropped all the way down to 232. Actually, we went a little lower to 229. And then now we're coming back up. Now, are we done? Are we done? Are we going to have a double bottom? Are we going to come down to this level again? Because this is, if we just extend the downward trending resistance to that level, we are kind of in an apex now. And we're kind of in this weird area where we are below the support, below the upward trending support, and making lower highs on the downward trending resistance. So even if I extend all this out, these are just different levels of support and resistance. So we wicked down to it here. We bounced on the upward trending line here, broke below it here, bounced, retested, and then dropped. And now we're holding support here at the 232 range. But for how long? Are we going to go? So this is what we need to see on XRP. We need to see it get back above 240. We would need to see it get above, I don't know, 245, and obviously break out of this downward trending resistance before we can think about making new highs here. Now, the problem with XRP is that it could decouple from Bitcoin anytime. there are things in play. There are things happening right now. There are announcements being made. There are moves happening behind the scenes that could cause XRP to just shoot up out of the blue, separate from every other crypto. But until that happens, it does correlate with Bitcoin. And so it's still kind of on that roller coaster, free riding up and down with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is dropping. So is everything else. So let's look at Ethereum, for instance. Ethereum dropped all the way. Ethereum was bouncing on this center line. This is where I thought we would have that bounce coming down to the center line and finally breaking out. And we dropped all the way down to the bottom. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. So Ethereum is still right in this overall downward trending channel, and it stayed in it, came all the way down, and now it's bouncing right on the bottom of it again. Kind of interesting how it's staying in this zone. But where to? Where is the bottom here? How far is that? Every time it's bounced on this line so far, it went up not to a new high, but a lower high, and then a lower low, and then a lower high, and then a lower low. Usually whenever we have a real breakout to the downside of a downward trending channel like this, and it wicks all the way down to retest previous support, that's usually the last time. And then it hits the top, comes down halfway and breaks out. But this time it did not do that. So maybe this is not the bottom. And so we might have another double bottom or triple bottom. We might come down here and hit this again, and it might look like maybe we come up and retest this and hit it over here before climbing back up inside this overall channel. I mean, it eventually has to break out of this channel, either to the upside or downside, but you guys do know, well, I will say, what I will ask instead of assuming you know, is what would be a sign? Why would it break to the downside here instead of break to the upside? Anybody?
Bear market.
Amy, who said that? Amy?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, bear market. It's just the bears winning. It's the bears overriding the bulls, basically. In bear market, a lot of people get scared and they hear that and they think, oh, that means the bull market's over. And usually when we're in a bear market, that's what it means. But it's no confirmation of that yet. But when do we call it a bear market? How low do we have to get from the high before we finally say that it is? So we were at 49.57 for Ethereum, August 24th. We're going on 3 months of downward trending consolidation here in what would have been a giant bull flag, and possibly still can be called one, because it depends on where you draw that flag from. But I mean, the flagpole from, but it certainly can still be a giant bull flag. And we've seen this happen before, where this happens for this amount of time and then finally shoots up. And so it's not unheard of or out of the blue if that happens, but there are different levels of support and resistance. And I know some people think that I am bearish all the time, or that I'm negative or pessimistic and think that the bull market's over. I do not want it to be, nor do I think it is. Usually we do go until January in a bull market before we really know when the top is in. And so in my mind, we do have a couple months left. In fact, and that could also change. We have a couple months left based on history. We have a couple months left based on what's usual. But this time could be different. This time certainly could be different. But we have 1 month and 29 days left now of the 12-month candle before this candle prints and the next candle starts. And when that happens in 1 month and 29 days, when this next candle starts, The only thing we can do is look at what usually is the case. I mean, you can speculate all you want. You can say this time is different all you want, but what normally happens when this candle prints, this is the fourth candle of a bull market cycle. That would be this one. Once it prints, that one usually was whatever the high was, usually was the high. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the high. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the high. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are in that fourth candle now. So it can go up all the way to 180 or 200, and it can also come down. And if it comes down in the next 1 month and 29 days, and then the next candle starts, then this, whatever the top of this one was, might have been the top of this market cycle. So we have a month and 29 days before we know for sure. So during this month and 29 days, all hell can break loose. We can go up and down. We can go down to 94, 95, 97, and then pump all the way back up to 170. All within the next 1 month and 29 days. That's all possible. But breaking this, well, it's not even that one. It's more like this. Breaking this upward trending support high. And by the way, just look at this for a second, guys. We have a high. This was the all-time high right here at 112. And then we had a higher high at 123, and then a higher high at 124.5, and then a higher high at 126. And during that whole time, from here to here, we also had higher lows until here. Once we break this support, and we know, and we did not get a higher high, but we actually had a lower low, and we broke the support and held as resistance, that is usually the end of that upward trending support. Not necessarily the end of a bull market or bear market, but the end of that upward trending support. And I can show you several other instances. Here was this one. All-time high right here. Higher high, higher high, higher high. Hold as support, 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 higher high. Support, support, support. Breakthrough, retest, boom, drop. High, all-time high, consolidation, lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Breakout, hit resistance, breakout, retest. But so every time we have one of these breakouts, and then it breaks the support that was holding it before it did that, it usually falls. So where could we fall to? I have these blue lines showing some excuse me, I have to sneeze. Let me just zoom out a little bit and show you. If we take a upward trending support line all the way back, which is this red one, let me get rid of this blue one. I'll just turn it blue. That one goes back a long time, but here's the bear market bottom right here from 2022 going into 2023. This is the previous all-time high bull market. We come down and then we start to climb. And since then, here at the bottom of that right now, hold on. We might have broken that. This orange line is the one that goes all the way back to 2011 as support and resistance. So we had resistance, support, support, support and resistance, support, 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 all the way up. And so we're a little bit away from that. That would be bad to break that. But from the bull market bottom right here, this blue line, we did break it, guys. Well, not only did we break it, we broke it right where this support line meets it. And we're retesting right now. We might have retested. Let me just bring this right there. Wick down to it, hit it, went through it, resistance, resistance, went through it, support, resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, drop. So I'm going to say this. We are at, what's the price? 107.2. I'm going to say that if we cannot hold above 106, if we get below 106 and we hold 106 as resistance, we're going to drop down to this 98, 97.5 range. That's the next, that's where this resistance became support. And that would be the next support level on the way down. And that is where we would hope for a big bounce. The next one after that is 90, the 91 to 93 zone. And anybody remember what that is?
CME gap.
CME gap. So I would not be surprised. I'm going to put a line. I'm going to put a zone right there. I would not be surprised if we filled that gap. Because it does 80% of the time. That's right, Joe. That would be a time to buy. It would be a time to go long. So guys, if you're, obviously if you're new and you're learning here, or even if you're not new and you're obviously still learning, I think that one of the biggest lessons that anybody can gain is when to be patient, when to sit on your hands, when to wait it out, when to be more calculated. Because I think a lot of people, I didn't give us my last signal. Let's just go look. Was short Bitcoin on the 30th of October, which was Friday. Up here, not a big deal. That was 4 days ago. Friday, 3 days ago. But in the chat, I see a lot of people, going long, going short, going long, going short, doing all kinds of things. And, if you're wondering why you're not seeing a bunch of signals from me, it's because I'm still in the same short, still thinking it's going to do what we want it to do. Now, sometimes I will hedge my short and I will do a lower, whatever I think the dominant direction is. So if I short, for instance, and I think that's the dominant direction, I might do a long hedge. What does that mean? I might also go long. Let me just scroll down here. I'm short on a coin margin, but I'm long on a USDT margin. So I might do a hedge, which means I'm going the opposite direction just in case. But once I see confirmation, once I see that it's actually choosing the direction, one of them, one way or the other, doesn't matter, I will just reverse the other position. And I will take that loss because now I'll know for sure I'll make that money back on the main direction that it's going to go. But I don't recommend you guys even do that. And that's why I don't give signals. I don't give signals to hedge. I don't recommend you do that unless you absolutely know what you're doing, or you're okay with cutting a loss and possibly a big one, hedging your bet. It's risky to the degree that if you go long and short at the same time, one of them is going to go positive and the other one's going to go negative. You have to understand that, right? And you also have to understand, how do I get out of the negative one without losing money and stay in the positive one that is making money? Well, there's only one way to do that. You either stay in both of them, and then once you have confirmation, so let me just put it this way. Let me just do it on the board here. Let's just say you go long and short at the same time, and you stay in the long one, and it's making you, and let's say the price is going up. You're making money. But once you know it's going to hit resistance, that's when you close out the long position. Now, your negative position is very, very negative at this point because it's gone way up against you. But once you close out the long position and take that profit, now you're only in the negative position. You don't short again. You let it come down, and you're getting less negative, less negative, less negative, less negative, less negative, less negative, until it finally catches up to where you entered. And now all of a sudden you're positive, but let's say this is support and it goes down and hits support, bam, you get out of the negative position. You get out of the short position. So you made money on both. But you got to be able to stomach that, and you better know what you're doing, because what if this isn't resistance? What if you stay in your short and your long, and the long goes up, 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 and it goes past resistance and just keeps going up? Well, there's going to come a time when you get liquidated on your short, on your other one. But guess what? You're going to be up positive on your long, almost an equal amount that you're negative on your short, if you did them with exact same amount of contracts. And so by losing, let's say you lose $1,000 on this one, you're up $1,000 on this one. So you kind of broke even at this point, right? You didn't lose any money. But what was the purpose of it? In other words, there's no sense of robbing Peter to pay Paul. There's no sense of making money in one pocket and losing in the other just to break even. So there's no sense of doing this if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to get out of one or the other. So I don't stay in them that long. So what I do is I quickly decide, like, I really only do them if I'm getting ready to go to sleep and I'm not sure what direction it's going to go. And I didn't even give the signal because that's a risky trade that I don't even want to share with everybody, because I don't want you guys to get in it and then, not know what to do. But if I wake up the next morning and nothing's happened and it's still kind of in the same spot it was, then I just close out the one that I feel less confident in. But if I stay in them, it's because we're on a line. Right now we're on a line. I feel 106 is the line for Bitcoin. I'm on Ethereum right now, but let's go to Bitcoin. I feel 106 is a major determining factor that we need to stay above. And if we fall below it, we're probably going to drop to 97, 98K, which is this area down here at the bottom of this overall upward trending support line, because we broke this upward trending support and we retested it as resistance. And we made lower highs while we're doing it. As you can see here, all-time high. And we're not getting enough buying pressure to get back up to that level. Now, on the other hand, guys, if we do get back above this, if we do get above this area and we can hold above the 106, I'll draw a line right there just so you know what I'm talking about. Looks like we are kind of bouncing on it, but I would say that in order for us, we would have to get back above that 111, 112, the 110.5 range, and break this downward trending resistance in order to even have another chance at an all-time high in the near future. And so because there's a CME gap down there in the low 90s, and because that is where the upward trending support is at this line right here, this overall blue line, let me go to the higher time frame so you can see it. This bottom upward trending support that's been that's been coming up since the bear market bottom. This one right here. Back here since 24K. That would be the next support level right around here at the 97, 98K range if we were to drop that low. And is it possible that we drop that low and then wick down even further to fill the CME gap? Yeah, of course, there's a lot of things possible. It's right here where that wick is, by the way. And obviously that was support and resistance back here. Resistance, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, 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 support. And right here is the 98K zone. And that also happens to be right at the juncture where it meets the upward trending, overall upward trending support, which there's no reason why. There's no reason why we should go through that to the downside unless the bull market's over. So I don't suspect that that's going to happen. I'm not overly concerned with that happening right now, but I will say that I would not be surprised at all, because of the recent break in the upward trending support, just like we did here. Whenever we reach new all-time highs, right here was an all-time high, 93. This was an all-time high of 99. This was an all-time high of 104. This is an all-time high of 108, another all-time high of 109. But as soon as we break this upward trending support, we fall back down to the bottom. Here's just the most recent example. All-time high right here, rather, 112, new all-time high 123, new all-time high 124, new all-time high 126. Here's the upward trending support. We broke it, and now we retested it. So if that's just what happens when you break major support. We come down to the next support level. 106 happens to be it right now, but if we break that, then I'm looking at 97, 98. And the only thing I can think of, guys, is that's going to be really close to the CME gap. The CME gap is down here at 92, 91.5, 92. I'm just going to put a line.
970, 92,
What is it?
525. 91,970 to 92,525, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So I'm just going to put it right there. And so certainly we could drop and wick right to that and still come up above this line, guys, and fill that gap. I wouldn't even flinch. I mean, look how many times we've done that. Look at this. That would be like equivalent to this. Wicking down, staying above this line, candle stay above, wick down, fill the gap, come back up. Or like this, or even these wicks here, because it does happen when that happens. That's not even abnormal. And not only that, but why did this one wick down that low in the first place? It's easy to see.
There was a gap there. That was a great trade. I made like 1,000% on that trade.
Yep. And all of these wick downs below the support, guys, are either CME gaps being filled or previous resistance being tapped as support. Boom. Boom. So I'm all for us going to 150, 160, 170 here in the next month and a half. We got literally a month and what did I say? 28 days or something like that. We're less than 2 months till the end of the year. That doesn't necessarily mean, guys, that the bull market's over. It just means that based on the 12-month chart, every bull market throughout history, they have their big bullish moves in November and December. That's the biggest gains of the bull market cycle. And it usually indicates the end of the 12-month candle. And that 12-month candle on every 4-year chart always just happens to be the top so far. But as they say, this time can be different. And we could just go into a super cycle, and it could go to where, XRP breaks away from Bitcoin. We could have an altcoin season that just shoots to the moon. Bitcoin would still go up, by the way, in altcoin season. Doesn't mean that Bitcoin stops going up. It just means that there's decoupling. There's non-correlation happening where other coins shoot up higher. Bitcoin could still edge up, while other things are just going up much faster. That happens sometimes in altcoin season. When Bitcoin loses dominance, it doesn't mean Bitcoin drops and everything goes up. It just means that it's not the one leading the pack necessarily anymore. Let me just look at some of these questions here, and we'll look at those other ones.
Real quick question, guys, about the CME gap detector. What time frame does it work best on?
That indicator, it just depends on how big the gap is. You want to start on the higher time frame, work your way down to the lower time frames. Sometimes you'll notice a gap on the higher time frames, looks a little smaller. You move down to the lower time frame, it's actually a little bigger. So just play with it.
Yeah, I just added it to my chart, and it doesn't show anything.
I would say
Make sure
go on the daily. I'm on it right now. This is the Bitcoin CME futures on the daily. And
yeah, I'm on the daily. Yeah. I don't see it though. Weird.
you don't see what?
I don't
gap?
see. I don't see any gaps.
All right. Here's one circled. Here's one circled. Here's one down here.
Yeah, it's weird. My chart doesn't show that.
Are you on the
on-
CME futures chart? Because it only works on the CME futures chart. Because our normal chart
Futures, not crypto. Yeah.
Yeah, what we trade on is open 24/7. CME is Monday through Friday, stock market
Right.
hours.
I put a
Um,
screenshot of how to get to it in the chat, in the Zoom chat.
So are you, first of all, are
Okay.
you on Phemex or on TradingView?
I'm on TradingView.
Okay, so on TradingView, you're probably trading, you're on crypto, you're trading Bitcoin. All you gotta do is click on futures and then click the first one, Bitcoin futures.
Bitcoin futures. Just go to futures then, right?
Yep.
What about on Phemex?
Okay.
Is it showed on Phemex?
No. Maybe. I don't know. I never tried it on Phemex. Let me look.
No, it's
That
only
looks,
trading view, and
There
it's
is
looks
only
completely
futures.
different.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I went to be Bitcoin CME futures and it looks totally different than your chart. It's got a bunch of buy sell signals and no gaps. Weird.
Look up here on the left. It says the same thing mine says. Bitcoin CME futures, 1-day CME.
Yes.
Daily
Same thing.
BTC.
Turn off all your other indicators, and then look for the indicator that's called gap detector by ASCH. But you can
Gap
just look at the
detector.
holes by ASCH. But you can just look at the holes in the chart. You should be able to.
Yeah,
see
if I get rid of all these lines, I can clearly see the gaps. Here's
You don't need-
one.
Yeah, you
Here's
don't need the
one.
detector.
Here's one. There's one. Here's one. There's one. Here's one. This is the one we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's the only one that hasn't been filled yet. This one right here. And that is right at the right there. This is looking a little crazy. Let me get rid of all this stuff. It's the level. Somewhere between 91 and 93, somewhere.
Yep.
This one right here was filled right here. This one right here was filled right here. This one right here was filled. This one right here was filled here. This one right here was filled here. And it is, I'm not saying it's coming down to here. I'm just saying that they do get filled, guys. Maybe not 100% of the time, but enough percentage of the time to bet on them. 70-80%. But when it happens is a different story. Does it have to happen right now? No. This is my concern right here though is the breakout. These are the support levels after reaching all-time highs, that when we break them, we usually have a big drop. This is the new all-time high, 112, support, new all-time high, support, new all-time high. Break, resistance, drop. And this is what it usually looks like when that happens and we drop. That's just what it is. I mean, I'm not trying to scare anybody. It's just, I'm just looking at what normally happens when this happens. And it's better to know than be blindsided, right? So let's just look at this. We have obvious higher highs. And if we take this, depending on where you put this at, that could just be a continuation of that upward trend line right there. Yeah, so I would say that 106, this wick right here, guys, well, that went all the way down to 103, and that was just today. No, that was over the weekend, but we did not make a higher high after that bounce. We're coming back down. We did not hold above this upward trending resistance. And so if you put a gun to my head and ask me what's going to happen in the short term, I would say possibly coming down to the 98K range, which is right in this level right here. And I hope we bounce there, but if we don't, then it might just be to fill this gap. Anybody have any difference, Chad on? Chad might have some more insight on this. Thought I saw him earlier, but I'm not sure if he's still on. Mhm.
My only concern about that CME gap is the last couple that filled, it was right at the 50 on the Fibonacci, the way I run the Fibonacci. But this time, it's lower. It's below the 61.8. So to me,
Yeah, that's what makes me
very-
feel like it might not be this time, but
it's very bearish if it is.
yeah, that'd be pretty bearish. That'd be way below this upward trending line. That could even mean beginning of bear market.
It would bounce on it probably. There's just a lot of liquidity, a lot of self-fulfilling prophecies. A lot of
Yeah.
traders know it's there, but
There's
I
a
don't know.
lot of volume right around the 97, 98 range. This is why I'm saying, that's why I'm saying this is probably where we come to right here. A lot of liquidity volume there. Yeah, Dave, he says, not sure about hedging. I think you would need a tight stop loss to keep losses low, either that or a lot of money to be able to withstand going negative. The one thing that I've noticed for the most part in trading Bitcoin futures contracts is that you can buy your way out of a jam if you got enough money. In other words, you can double down, you can add more contracts, you can push your liquidation away, but only for so long. And you better be right. You better have enough money and be right, because does it eventually turn? Like, for instance, if you were up here and you were planning on it going up higher and it started to do this, can you withstand this much drop before you get liquidated? There's only one way, and that's to add a shit ton of contracts and lower your leverage, or put your leverage so that your liquidation is much further away, and have enough cojones to stay in that all the way down and all the way back up. Why do that to yourself? Not necessary. That's just a lot of unnecessary stress. There's no reason to stay in a negative position like that. Me personally, yeah, I would rather just cut the loss, right? Stop loss and be out.
I have something about that, Nico.
Yeah.
This is Kimmel.
I can,
When I'm guilty of trying to rescue trades, it's probably my worst problem. And I just wanted to confess that I've looked at the different ways to use money to bolster a trade that you want to stay in the same direction. And the cheapest way to move your liquidation further away is adding margin, using the pencil edit margin on your entry line. That moves the liquidation. You get the most bang for your buck that way. I don't know exactly why.
it lowers
Well,
your
you're-
liquidation, but it doesn't add contracts. It doesn't give you a better entry.
That's right. That's right.
why.
It gives you the potential to go negative, essentially.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're giving yourself more rope to hang yourself with.
Yes, exactly, which is what I like to do. I've had some success by throwing money at. You just have to have a small enough entry compared to your bank so that you have cash to throw at it if you want to try and do that kind of thing. I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend it on a big play,
No.
obviously.
I've seen guys get out of tens of thousands of dollars of negative position by just waiting. And most people wouldn't have the stomach to do that or the money to do it. And they just wait. And then it comes back around eventually into profit. But that is a stressful way to trade, totally unnecessary. And there's no reason. I did it by accident before. I've told the story before when I went to a Chinese restaurant and I was like $1,500 negative, and my stop loss was, I moved my stop loss out of the way because I was so confident that it was turning around and coming back up. And I just didn't want to get stopped out. And I went to I went out to dinner, was at a Chinese restaurant, and totally forgot that I was in the trade. And then when I looked, I was like $18,000 negative. It dropped so far, so fast in such a short period of time. And I was still in the trade. And so at that point, what are you going to do? You're going to cut the loss, or you're going to hope and chew off your nails and wait for it to come back up. So when you're forced to be in that kind of position, you have no choice than to try to pad your account, try to save it from being lost. Then you look at it. Okay, is it going to go down further? Is it possible? Probably not. It's more likely when you have a big drop like that it's going to start to climb back up. It usually recovers from those kinds of drops. And that's what happened. Luckily, over the next 2 days, it took like 2 or 3 days for it to even come back close to where I would have been comfortable cutting a loss. But I learned a big lesson there. This is why I always tell you guys to use the stop losses. And some of you are like, well, stop loss gets hit. Yeah, well, that's the whole point, to stop your loss. And if you're taking a lot of little trades and your tiny little stop losses getting hit often, you're getting nickeled and dimed with stop losses, but you're not getting hacked with huge losses. So now if you're doing that, then what you really got to perfect is your entries, so that you're not, so that when it does hit your stop loss, it's less often until you get to the point where your winners exceed your losses. But if you're getting your stop loss hit all the time, then you can say, well, it's because I put it too close. It's because I put it within 5% or 10%. But also, was your entry right? You know, why is it going against you so often? Are you actually entering in the right spot? So, I mean, most of my stop losses that I put are 10%, but I stopped saying put it 10% in the chat because 10% for you might be different, or a different number than 10% for me. It's based on your entry, your contracts, your leverage, all those things. So you can put it 10%, but what it should be is not in the way of a liquidity zone. So let me just go back and show you on the other chart. Like even on the Bitcoin short here, I put a stop loss at 111,365. 111,365. If we go and look, that was Friday. Here's my entry, and my stop loss is right here. So let's go look. How far away was that? It was 23% away. Now I'm in profit on that trade, so I could move my stop loss now down to break even, but I'm not so sure yet that this is gonna continue down. It did wick below this 106 line, but I think it needs to get below it and break it and hold it as resistance. If that happens, then, you know, I'm not only going to move my stop loss and profit, but I'm going to probably add contracts and reverse my long position on my USDT. That's the hedge. So in case it goes back up, I will get less and less profitable on this one. See, I'm not trying to make money on every position when I'm hedging. I'm hedging so that I can figure out which direction it's going to go. So if it comes back up, right now I'm profitable. But if it comes back up, right here, I will go break even, negative. As soon as that happens, I'm profitable on my other trade. But if it breaks this to the upside, then I'm closing out the short. But if it comes down here, I'm profitable on this trade, but I'm getting negative on my long position. But I'm only getting a little bit negative because I went long down here. So if it breaks this and retest here, I'm closing out the long position and doubling down on my short position. So even if I do take a small loss on one of them or the other, I'm going to make up for it on the other one. But that does require you to understand how to do that. And that is not necessarily a safe or that's certainly not a standard way to trade. I would not even recommend it unless you're okay with taking those kinds of risks and you do know how to do it. But you also should be monitoring it. You should be making sure it's not getting too far away from you in any direction. And now, if it is, you could close both of them right away and break even or get close to breaking even. You can take your profit on one and close out the negative in the other and really not lose much. And that's the only one good safe haven about hedging is that if you're going negative in one position, you're going positive in the other. And but to what end is the question. You know, if it's just to break even, then there's no reason to do it. But if you know how to get out of it, if you know how to manipulate it, if you know how to work your way around it, and I'm trying to think of a good, there's like actual games like this where you're trying to balance one thing over here and you're trying to get another one over here, this ball to go into a hole and this ball to stay over here at the same time. And there is a way to do it. There's a way to win the game, but you just got to learn it first before you do it.
But hey, Nico, couldn't you just do trailing stops on both, going down and going up? Isn't that the same thing or no?
I mean, you could. I never use trailing stops anymore because this candle we're in right. This is the daily time frame. This long red candle is the one I'm waiting to break this line. And the problem is it can go up and down, up and down, up and down. So if I went short here and I have a trailing stop and the stop moved from here to here, and then this kept going down, and then the stop moved from here to here, and then this pulls back and takes out my stop loss, and then still continues in the direction that I wanted it to go. That's the reason why I don't like trailing stops. I'm going to leave my stop loss way out here for now until I know for sure that this has gone through a different support level and held it as resistance. Then I will move this stop. Once here, let me give you. And once this actually comes below this and holds this as resistance and starts to drop, then I will move this stop loss, not just to break even, but all the way above this line. Now I'm locking in really good profit because if it comes back above that line, then this is no longer holding as resistance. So if it comes back above that line, I want to get out of this trade anyway, and then just stay in my long at that point. But I'm not saying that there isn't a place for trailing stops. It's just that from my experience, if you don't know how to set those up to the right percentage trailing the right percentage away, you could run the risk of getting stopped out and it still continues in the direction you actually wanted it to go. Because there's always consolidation, guys. There's always like a big wick and then it reverberates. It's like up and down before the next candle starts and then it goes down further. But during this up and down part is where it could hit your stop loss and take you out. So I just keep my stop loss away from it until I confirmed that it's heading down. But not too far away. I'm not going to keep my stop loss way up here right above, right near liquidation, because that would be too much of a loss if it got away from me. But if it gets away from me here, and you see, if it breaks my stop loss here, it's probably going to break out back to the upside, and I don't want to be in that short anymore anyway. Joe says, smoking hopium on 2 long trades right now. Don't be a Joe. Use stop losses and lean into shorts as well. Can you look at Jelly? Big pump. Saul, is there an example? Example of what? Be specific in your questions, guys, unless you're responding to something else. Because by the time I go and read them, I don't even know what I said that made you ask that. Park, a stochastic orange above the blue now, on what time frame, on what crypto?
You answered it, Nick. You answered it.
Okay. Jelly. Let's look at it. Why is it pumping? What's going on here? Well, this is what we call whipsaw action here. Boom, boom, boom. You know, 3 crazy candles up and down like that. Let's go to the lower time frame and see what it looks like. That was on the daily, so that's some serious daily movement right there. Wow. Thanks, Parker. So this is yeah. I don't know what to tell you about this one. There's something causing these moves, but there is upward trending resistance. And support. Yeah, that's a huge channel to fill like that so quickly. So I would say now would not be a good time to go long because it's reaching the top again, unless it breaks that. Now, if it breaks that, it would have to hold it as support. So you can see it broke it here, broke it here, broke it here. But if it just goes up and comes back down, that's useless. You don't want to go long. But if it goes up and comes down and holds that as support and then starts to make a higher high and it's no longer doing this, then you could go long. But until then, just based on it hitting this line, every time it hits this line, it falls back down, hits the line, falls back down, hits the line, falls back down, hits the line, falls back down. Just based on that, I would say your odds are better shorting when it hits the line than going long. But because this is so volatile, I mean, from 16 cents down to 4 cents, back up to 16 cents in 24 hours. In hours, rather. Now you might say, well, this is a cup forming. Yeah, could be a cup and handle. Could go like this. That would be a nice cup. Handle. They tend to break to the upside under normal circumstances. That would be a break up here. I don't have enough price history. Let's go back. I guess this does go back. Let's go back. Yeah, it's never been up there from what I can see. Maybe it has. I don't know. This one's weird. I don't know what's causing the buys and sells right now on this, so I'm not gonna. I mean, if you're speculating, if you're just gonna scalp it, I would wait for it to do this. This is what it's doing right here. Boom, 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 boom. This is what it will probably do next. It's doing it again right now, except for these are much longer, bigger candles. Look how small and tight these are. Usually when they're small and they get smaller and smaller and smaller towards the end, it's reaching a top. Usually when they're big and they stay big, it could be time to break through. So I would wait on that one for a breakthrough and retest. Otherwise, it's probably just going to come back down. It is reaching right down here on the RSI. Speaking of RSI, let's just go back and look at Bitcoin real quick and see. Bitcoin is temporarily bouncing on this 106. Look at the stochastic RSI. Blue line is crossing on 4 hour. On the daily, blue line crossed back to the downside. The weekly is trying. The blue line trying to come back above the orange line. I mean, we are way down here, and I mean, it could go lower. But if it crosses the orange line to the upside and gets back above this dotted line on the weekly, then there's a good chance that we pump back up from this 106 and we hold above 106. But the fact that this went only up to here and then crossed back over and came back down below, and as you can see, when that happened, the price dropped drastically. I mean, we are down almost $20,000 from its all-time high. $16, 17%. Now, if it does come down to the 98K, that'd be about 22%. And that is typical. $31 there. 22 there if it does it. $33 there. From here to here. Park, sorry. I said Parker because it looked like the E was cut off, and so I thought there was another letter after that. Chris asks, when or why would you add contracts? Is that to keep you from hitting your liquidation price? Generally speaking, guys, it's usually greed when people do it, if they don't really know why they're doing it, other than just to make more money, because they think they're going to make more money. Bill, you want to?
Adding contracts is the only way to make more, right? Adding contracts is the only way to make more money. If you're in a position and you know you're right and your timing was off, but you're sure you're right, you can average into the trade and get a better entry. If it works against you, you can add more contracts and get a better entry price. But it can be incredibly dangerous in crypto. If you're not careful how you plan it, you could just put yourself in a much worse position very quickly.
Yeah, it's like doubling down on a bet, guys. You're adding more money to the bet because you think you're right, but if you're wrong, you lose more money. Now, if you have a tight stop loss, then you probably end up losing the same amount of money that you would have lost. But this is why you got to learn these different things, guys, because once you got it, I know it seems like a lot to learn for some of you, but you don't need to be an expert at all this, guys. You don't need to be fluent in the language, as I say, to speak the language. There are plenty of successful people in the United States who speak very broken English. They don't even speak the language very good, and they become very successful in the United States because they don't need to be perfect. They don't need to be fluent. Just like in trading, you don't need to know everything. Just like your iPhone. How many of you have an iPhone? Or any phone for that matter, but I say iPhone because that's what I have. And you know what you know how to navigate it. You know how to text. You know how to look at your email. You know how to use the apps. You use what you use. You can go on Facebook. You can go on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. You know how to do all that. But you know that there's probably 10,000 other things that phone does that you don't know how to do. Cynthia says, is that a giant cup upward handle on BTC? Are you talking about this right here? Okay, she says yes. So yes, it was a giant cup and it already did its thing. So let's look at it. This was a cup and handle from the previous all-time high all the way back up to 73.8 and created a giant handle, which was the giant bull flag from this giant cup and handle. This was, if you take a drawing from the center down to the middle and you draw it upward from the breakout, that's exactly where we went. Yep, that one's done. We've already did that one. We already been there and done that one. We were excited when we saw it too, right when this was happening back here. When we were coming up to previous all-time highs, this was back in March of 2024. And then it started consolidating like this. This is a giant bull flag that was happening on this side, in addition to the handle of a giant cup. So we were very excited about the breakout of that. That's right, Sandy. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to know the basics. And if you if you learn the basics that make the most money, you just repeat that over and over and over again. And you will get better and better and better. And you will get more and more fluent and you will understand more and more and more. Randy, you have your hand up. Did you have a question, bud? You can just come off mute and ask whenever. Let me know. If you want to ask a question, just come off mute.
Yes, Nico. To me, it's more likely to, it's like you want to touch the main resistant line you have and maybe come back up, or if you break it, maybe going down more.
This one here, this long
Yeah.
term. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I feel that seems like the logical thing for it to do. That's what it's done every time it hit a new all-time high. This was the all-time high here. And then we came to
Okay.
this line. This was the all-time high here. And we came to this line. And this is the all-time high here. And if we come to the line, it's just
Yeah.
perfectly synced up to not only this major support level, but there is something called volume pressure over here. I don't have it on this chart. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can put it on my my other chart.
Or sideways until we dump.
Say again.
Or sideways until we dump.
Um, yeah, it could. It could go sideways until it hits that line and bounce and then go up from there too.
I have the same problem. I'm going to upgrade. I get tired of it.
Another thing, guys, that we are below the EMA ribbon as well, which is bearish. Obviously, we flipped it here, and then we retested here as resistance on the daily. Generally speaking, when that happens, it's not necessarily good in the short term.
Yeah, if you put the weekly, you put the line, it's like it's bearish. It's like it's really want to touch that resistant line at least.
Yeah, I mean, we're wicking into it on the weekly, and usually we'll come to the bottom of it. And like here.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit of quicksand. It's kind of like the Gaussian channel. Let's go look at that, by the way.
Okay.
Gaussian channel is most accurate on the 5-day. Let's get rid of the EMA ribbon for the time being. We are coming down to the Gaussian channel. I don't know what happened here. Let's see. Why? Seemed like we were closer to it the other day. We wicked down to it, but we are heading towards it. And I'm not overly concerned with that right now. Touching it on the 4-day, that might be a sign of things to come. In it on the 3-day, almost to the bottom of it on the 2-day. Turning red on the daily. A little bit of a red sliver happening here.
Look like a nice head and shoulder. Even on XRP, it's look really big.
The saving grace for XRP, in my opinion, guys, is that it decouples and it has an event. It has an accumulation event. You got the stock market, you got all of the ETFs, you got all this money getting ready, sitting on the sideline. And you could say, well, why haven't they bought yet? They're waiting for the go-ahead. They're waiting for the switch to be flipped. They're waiting for approval from certain things, all of these different governmental agencies, all these different financial institutions. And that is when billions will flow in. And they will buy from Ripple first. And so the price may not even look like it's going to do anything yet, but there's only so much that they can buy from directly from Ripple before they have to buy on the major exchanges. And you will see a parabolic move to the upside, in my opinion, on XRP. And that's coming. When? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm certainly not going to be one of those people that said, shit, I should have bought more. Oh, man, I should have had some. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Even if we didn't trade here, guys, even if we didn't trade and we just told you what we thought was going to happen in the near future, you should all get rich. I mean, even if we just got on these calls and shoot the breeze while we're waiting for XRP to shoot to the moon, or while we're waiting for Bitcoin, you could all get very rich. Okay, I don't know how many XRP it would take for you to become a millionaire, but if XRP does what a lot of the experts think it's going to do over the coming 6 months, year, 5 years, then maybe 1,000 XRP would be worth $1 million. And you can have 1,000 XRP right now for $2,400. All right, so then you're going to wish you had 10,000. It would suck to just get rich enough to not have to work anymore, but really not rich enough to do all the other things you really want to do. Some people are very simple, though. All they want to do is get rich enough to not have to work anymore. And some people want to get mega rich. Yachts and Monaco money. Just depends on your goals. John, can you give an example of some of the basics to focus on? Yes. Get on the basics call with Bill on Wednesday, which is right after my live call. And then I would say the basics are know how to enter and exit a position and know where support and resistance is and have your trend lines drawn so you understand what the chart is supposed to look like. And so there where you can see when it's approaching support or when it's approaching resistance. And then I would say the basics are like there's people, guys, in this group and myself and some other people who have and Chad who have made a lot of money without trading hardly at all for like a whole month, like just basically a few trades in a month and made a lot of money because we waited for the big breakout. We waited for, but you know, I was trading 20 times a day, you know, for years. I was in and out. I was scalping. I was constantly trading. I did that for a long time and made a lot of money. But then, you know, sometimes less is more. I got a friend who's in a totally different business and he sells products on Amazon and TikTok shop. And he was getting hundreds of thousands of views, maybe even millions of views on his TikTok and on his Instagram. And he was making good money, but because he was getting paid, like he figured out he was making like 20 cents a view. So the more views he got, you would just naturally think the more money he would make. But what he did is he switched the products to where he was selling a more higher ticket product and he was getting less and less views over time, but he's making more and more money every month. So then he got to the point where he was barely posting videos. Like he would just do 1 or 2 videos a week instead of 10 a day like he was doing. So he was working less, posting less, getting less views and making more money. More and more money. And so less is more sometimes when you strategically figure out what it is that what is your goal? Like with trading, a lot of people think, I mean, I've seen guys in this group post, you know, send me messages, Nico, I haven't seen a signal since yesterday. Well, should I go long? Should I go short? What's going on? Do you see anything I could get in? Like they're so anxious to trade that they're missing the reason why we're here. And the reason is to make money. So I'm going to give you, me personally, I'm going to give a signal when I think that there's a good trade setup. And you'll see in the wins wall, other people showing tons of winning trades in between my signals on cryptos I never even gave signals for. Why? Because there are there's so many opportunities to make money. I can't possibly even know them all, and I'm not even looking for them all. I'm waiting for proper trade setups on cryptos that I actually want to accumulate and trade on a coin margin because I'm trying to accumulate more of that crypto. But if your goal is to just make the biggest return in the shortest period of time, and there's nothing wrong with having that goal, then you still need to learn what I'm teaching. You need to understand support and resistance. You need to understand when to get in. You need to understand the basics. And then you go and find those trade setups on these other crazy cryptos. Like someone mentioned Jelly today, and we looked at it and it's going ballistic. You could have probably made a lot of money on that if you knew when to get in and when to get out. But I wasn't watching it. It's not on my radar because I'm not looking at Jelly. I'm not looking at most of the meme tokens. But there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's people in our group that make an absolute fortune on some of these shit coins because they're actively scouting, looking for certain cryptos that are about to hit support resistance, or they're doing something that is what we call a good trade setup. So let me show you what I mean and how to find them on your own. So you're not just waiting for me or Chad or anybody else to give a signal. So over here in Phemex, like I'm trading Bitcoin, right? I'm waiting for Bitcoin to do its thing. Bitcoin comes down here. I'm in a short. I'll make a lot of money on the way down here. And then if it bounces here, I will go long and hopefully we'll get one more parabolic move way up here somewhere to 150 range. And by the end of the year. But if you don't want to just wait for that, come over here and click this button up here where it says BTC USD. I'm on a Bitcoin margin, but click on that. And then down here on a USDT margin, all of these hundreds of cryptos, right? But here's the Bitcoin one, and it's negative. And look, all these ones that are equally negative are the ones that are correlating with Bitcoin. So as I scroll down, you want to look for ones that are green or doing the opposite. So let's just scroll. There's one, Tau, a little green. Let's look. Oh, look at this one. DG. What is that? Is that DG or OG? 0G? 0G. 31% up while everything is down. Let's look at it. Click on it. What the hell is going on with this one? This one must have just been right here. Look at this. Phemex new pre-market futures listing. That's CC. I don't know what that is, but let's see if there's any other ones. Waiting for that to change. Let's just go and see all the different. That's this one. Usually when they're brand new and they're just listed, you got a candle like this. This is the weekly. You're not going to see much because it just got listed. But let's go to the day, an hourly, and see what it's doing. I mean, you take a big risk betting on something like this. It just got listed, but it looks like it's bouncing. But bouncing on what? Is there any support and resistance for this thing yet? You don't really know, right? It's brand new listing. But and it could just continue to fall lower and lower and lower. So me personally, I stay away from these. But there's guys in our group that take advantage of these. So let's keep scrolling. Let's go back to that OG.
I have a suggestion, Nico.
Sure.
Well, the one I wanted you to look at was Mega, and it's brand new against Tether.
Okay. Let's just look at this one real quick because this one is the one I found here. We have downward trending support. This is the 10-minute. Let's go to the daily and see what it looks like. This thing's just been dropping and dropping and dropping. So is this something to get excited about? It is breaking out, potentially breaking out of a downward trending falling wedge. Could be bullish. Or is it? Or is this green candle about to turn red again and continue its downward trend? So, but when you zoom out and you go to a lower time frame, I mean, zoom in on a lower time frame, you see maybe it did break out and it's retesting as support. Normally, it just wicks above, comes back down, wicks above, comes back down, wicks above, come back down. But here it went through and it's bouncing on previous resistance. That might be a good sign. And if you look, well, we're on the 1 hour, but down here on the stochastic RSI is down at the bottom, blue line's getting ready to cross the orange line to the upside. This might be, just for the hell of it, for the remainder of this call, I will go long to show you. Let's see what happens. This is how I would do it if no one was watching. I would, even though normally you should wait for it to bounce and get higher than where it broke through, because there is a possibility this falls back below. But I'm going to go long just for the hell of it. 10x leverage. And I'm going to put a stop loss right under this line in case I'm wrong, because there's a way to do this where you're not really risking much, guys. So if it holds the support here and continues up, that's a great entry. But if it falls back below this line and comes back down into this channel, then it's probably going to come back down to the bottom, and I don't want to go negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my mounts here and I'm going to look at the price. That's about $1.16. And I'm going to come down to OG TPSL, $1.16. That's it. Well, it says 87%, but let me just hit confirm. There it is. I'm risking $424 on this. I don't want to lose 87%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten this up real tight, right to about there. So now I'm at 60%. All right. It's not great. These are not great odds over here. But if this thing finally is ready to break out, it is the only one pumping. But you can see every time it's done this before, it just fell further. So why would I bet on it this time? Well, only because it broke that resistance. And if it does pump, we could get all the way back up to $2.23 at 10x leverage. That could be a huge gain. That would be a $4,000 gain for me if it just gets up to this level. So what am I risking really, guys? I'm risking 60% of $420, which is like $200 to make 4,000. So that's a risk to reward ratio of 20 to 1.
What coin is that? OG?
Yeah, 0G. And we go back up here and click
No
on.
wonder I couldn't find it. I thought it was a O.
Yeah, it's the number 0, then G.
Yeah.
Now, if we scroll and go looking for another one, ZEC is up 6%. Nothing outrageous. Some of these are way, really dump. Fartcoin's really dumping fast. I don't know what's going on with Fartcoin. Look at this one, jelly up 156%. That's one we looked at a minute ago. That thing was really crazy today. Dash right underneath that, 21%, 29%. Let's look at it. What's going on with Dash? Dash just broke out of a major bull flag. No doubt about it. What is going on with Dash? Look at that. Nice, perfect bull flag. Broke out to the upside. And it broke out equal so far to the distance of the flagpole. Look at that. Flagpole. That's how how much it breaks out. And it's already there. So would now be a good time to go long? Yes or no?
No.
No.
No, it's going long at the top.
So this, right.
Maybe.
This is the mistake that new people make. They see something pumping and they jump in. Oh my God, it's shooting up. And they get in at right the wrong time. And then it goes against them. And they're like, oh shit, it must have known I did it. It's only doing that because I got in. I hear these things all the time. I know people are trying to be funny, but it's not. It's because you're doing what most people do. Most people see this and they feel like they're missing out at FOMO and they get in, but they never calculated, is it too late? It's right. It's already there, guys. It's like, here's the breakout. There's the flagpole. And where is the flagpole from? The previous flag resistance. It's already a bull flag. Look at this. Let me take this flagpole. It already, look at that. That was the previous resistance. Take the flagpole to the top. Break out. Right to the top. Consolidate. Break out. It's almost right there, isn't it? So is that a place to enter long? No. Probably a good place to go short. Not only that, but on the hourly, look at how far above we're overbought territory on the RSI. So when this blue line starts to curve like it always does, why would it curve now? Well, it's at the 100. Look at the dotted line and look all the way over here to the right. It's at the 100. Does it go up higher than that? No. Just look to the left. Look at the dotted line to the left. Does it ever get higher than that? No. So it's already at the top. This is the top. Short, if you want to play that game. But what if it just keeps going? Well, okay, then you put a tight stop loss above your short and you'll get taken out with a loss. But the odds is that it's probably not going to do that. Pumps never keep pumping. They pump, consolidate, breakout. Pump, consolidate, breakout. And it's already at the length of the pole that they usually tend to go up. And it's already pulling back. You see the wick. So I'm not excited about it. I mean, people do get excited when they see those things, but let's just go back. Let's just keep going because this goes on for a while here. There's so many cryptos. Here's another one.
How about Mega?
What's that?
Actually, I also have a suggestion when you're on that selector for the crypto.
Yeah.
The column headings will sort by that. So if you click on the percent column heading, you can get all the
Yes.
winners
Good.
and losers.
Yeah, you can definitely change it from the price or to the percentage gain, like right here, and just put them
Yes.
all right here.
Anyway, I was in Mega, which is one of the new ones, MEGA, Tether.
Good, cool.
Now I'm up 17% on OG 0G.
It does seem to be bouncing there. I am up $61 on that, 14% already. So you catch them. 'Cause 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 if I close it out right now, because it may not go up. And this is another thing. People are scared to take profits. They're like, oh, I've got a perfect entry. And then they're up a little bit. And then all of a sudden it comes back down. And like, shit, I was in profit. If you guys just get in the habit of taking the profit when you're in profit, you'll be a consistently profitable trader. Like if I just take that $60 and then walk away, I just made $60. But if I sit in it and wait, eventually it might come back down and take away my $60.
And be in the negative.
Yes. And then it come down and take away, hit my stop loss and I lose 200.
A bird in hand is worth two in the bush.
That's what they say. And some people can do this for months and even years and not learn the lesson. It's just the greed factor keeps kicking in. It's kind of like, do you know any friends that like to go to the casino all the time and play slot machines? I have a few friends. And for some reason, they've never won it big. They win 1,000 here and there. They win 2,000 here and there. But you know how many thousands they lose to win 2,000? So what is it they're addicted to, winning or losing?
Losing.
And they all know what they should do when they win or when they have a little win, they should leave. There's been songs written about it. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You better count your money when it's sitting on the table.
Oh.
I know you don't want to hear me sing, guys, but the point is that no one does it. Most people don't do it. They don't take the money and run. There's another song. Take the money and run. They just don't, because they're greedy. And we're all greedy. We all greed and we just wait. We think it's going to be more. Oh, yeah, but this time it's going to be different. No, I didn't come all the way to the casino just to make $1,000. I came to win the big one. Okay, well, you should have taken the $1,000 when you were up, because you're not going to win the big one. The odds are. Now, don't get me wrong. It's certainly possible, but let's be real.
The odds is not in your favor.
Definitely not. And the only people, guys, the only people who have become billionaires off Bitcoin are not the people day trading every day. Don't get me wrong. You can make a lot of money trading when you know what you're doing, but the people that have become billionaires are the ones who bought 500 Bitcoin or 7,000 Bitcoin when it was 3 cents and forgot about it. And 10 years go by and now it's worth 100,000 each. And they look in their wallet and they got $1 billion sitting there. Or they forgot what they did with their wallet and they realized that they had 7,000 Bitcoin when they bought it and they don't know where it's at now and they don't know how to access it. And when they do the math, they realize how much that would be. 400 million, I would have 400 million. Yeah. And it's kind of like, I mean, we all have experienced this too, guys. It's like, have you ever found lots, money that you forgot you had in a coat jacket or somewhere you hid it, or maybe a bank account that you forgot about, or 401k.
Every New Year's Eve, coat pocket.
Yeah. And then you're glad you found it. You're glad you forgot about it. Saves you. It just comes at the perfect time. Yeah. That's why the disciplined, strategic, steady, boring investor wins in the end. And, it's slow and steady wins the race. That's why these sayings exist. It's like the tortoise and the hare story.
It's about finding balance, Nico. Bat Bill says many times that nature seeks balance. And when you don't have balance, you have imbalance, and that creates chaos. Chaos is hectic. You won't be happy with chaos. So it's about seeking your balance, not Nico's or Chad's or Bat Bill's or John Larson's or TJ's about finding the balance that works for you. And you guys all have different trading strategies and things, and can be very useful in helping you find your balance.
That's right. Well said. That's why a lot of relationships fail too, because people who are used to chaos, they're used to toxic relationships, they're used to problems. When they finally do meet somebody who's calm and balanced and not chaotic, they find it boring. They don't know how to act in that kind of relationship. They don't know how to, even though that's what they say they want, that's what everybody wants. They wish that they could find something like, when they do, it's kind of boring because they need to actually start a fight to feel alive again. Liga 764 million for the co-founder Chris Larson. What are we talking about here? Hold on one second. According to an on-chain analyst, Ripple co-founder Chris Larson has reportedly pocketed over 764 million in profits from XRP sales since 2018, raising concerns among investors. Yep. I know, Liga, you don't seem to be pro XRP. The only ones getting rich off XRP are the Ripple founders. Yeah. However, when they sell it, what are they doing with the money? When they're selling it on chain to retail traders, people like us, what are they doing with the money? Are they buying yachts? Are they buying billion-dollar companies for Ripple to increase the value of the coin overall crypto?
Buying gold.
No, they're investing in Ripple. They're investing in the infrastructure. They're buying billion-dollar companies that will enhance the overall value and utility of the coin. I mean, these guys probably do live nice lifestyles as well, I'm sure. But you could obviously do the same thing, and that's what you probably would do if XRP went to $10,000. You probably would have $100 million or so, depending on how much you have, and you'd probably want to do the same thing. But from what I understand, a lot of the money that they make from selling crypto on their ledger, from their ledger, is reinvested back into the infrastructure. Park, yes, I do believe that. There are lots of people that don't, but I guess time will tell.
Nico, hi. I'm sorry if you already covered this, but on the last call, you mentioned that Ripple could delist XRP. What happens for people who are holding XRP? What happens to their coins or tokens or whatever it is?
Then you would have an asset that everybody wants to buy at a much higher value. If they delist it, that just means no one can buy it anymore. But you can always sell it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, to see what happens to your holdings.
Also, delisting is just centralized. So when we talk about delisting, we're talking about like centralized exchanges, Coinbase, places like that. But if you're in the decentralized space and you have crypto in a decentralized wallet, for instance, a Web3 based decentralized wallet, like Decent, for instance, or Trezor or something, then you could sell it, you could borrow against it. There's plenty of companies that will loan against the crypto. The XRP is still needed to do its function. So the more of it that you have, the more valuable it is, the more of it that companies need to loan against, the more they want to hold yours as collateral. There's probably better explanations for that, but you definitely want to be able to buy it or have it before that happens, if that happens. It's kind of like, let me give you another example. Let's just say there's only 10 Rembrandts in the world, Picassos or Rembrandts, very famous paintings. There's only 10 left in the world. The rest have been either destroyed or lost. And 2 of them become for sale at the Sotheby's auction. They're $60 million each. Investors buy them up. Boom. No more available. You can't buy one if you tried. But the people who are sitting on them, the value of them just keep going up in value. Once one becomes available at the auction next year or the year after, bam, it's 120 million. So your value, the value of the XRP will continue to go up, especially the scarcer it is, the more scarce it becomes. That's what makes things valuable in the first place. If gold was laying around on the streets, guys, it wouldn't be valuable. It's valuable because it's hard to find. You got to dig it up. You need a lot of heavy equipment. And if you don't want to do all that, you got to go buy it from somebody who already went through all that. And you pay a premium for it, $4,000 an ounce, let's just say. And then you can have some. But if it was just laying around, it loses its value.
It's like water just became valuable. I don't know. You know, it's just weird how just water became valuable, you know, where it used to be just free tap water.
Yeah, I mean, technically it is still free, but they've conditioned you to not want to drink that nasty tap water. If you really knew where your tap water's been, or any water for that matter, you might not want to drink it, but the water that goes down the sink and down the shower drain after you take a shower, after you flush the toilet, after you wash your dishes, all goes through a water treatment facility, cleaned up and pumped right back out to you as tap water. It's kind of disgusting, but all the water that has ever existed on the planet Earth is already encapsulated in inside of Earth's atmosphere. And so it evaporates from the heat, turns into moisture, turns into steam, rises, accumulates in a cloud, falls back down as rain, hits the land and the streams and gets sucked into the aquifer and goes into the streams and gets processed back out as drinking water. You drink it, you pee it out, it gets evaporated, goes back up into the cloud. It's just a never-ending cycle of what, I mean, the water you're drinking right now has probably been in and out of 1 million sentient beings already throughout the billions of years.
If you're worried about that, you definitely never want to be on a Navy ship. That's a definite. But with the
we're probably learning more than we want to know today about some.
Yeah, you don't want to look at what builds up in showers with the folks on there. You definitely want to be one of the first ones in the shower. But with the delisting she was talking about, if it's on the market determines the price. If it's no longer on the market, the holder determines the price.
Yeah. If someone comes to your garage sale and says, "Oh, how much you want for that statue over there?" and you say $1,000, and they say, "Well, I can go buy that same statue at Home Depot. They're everywhere. They're only $20. Why would I pay you $1,000?" And you say, "But if you know and they know that that's the only statue, and maybe 3 other people have one in the whole country, how much you want for it?" 20,000. I'll give you 18.5. Then it becomes a bidding war for something that everyone knows is valuable. It's just like cars, guys, you know, when there's a classic, I mean, the original AC Cobras, there was 1,000 of them made. Now there's about 100 left that are still in sellable condition. They sell between $3 million and $12 million each. And they look like shit compared to the new ones that they're building. The new ones they're building, you can buy for 80,000, 90,000, 100,000. But if it's an original AC Cobra Shelby, it's $3 million, $10 million. It's ridiculous. And it's even more money with the patina and the rust on it. If you sand it and paint it, it's not as valuable. They want it all junked up, looking like it was original. So it's just weird how we value things. But I'm not overly concerned with that as far as XRP goes. I think that it's going to need to be on the exchange for a while. But I think that there will come a time when that could happen. Bitcoin too, guys. 21 million Bitcoin's been mined, and it's $30 million per Bitcoin. How many people are going to be buying Bitcoins? It's going to be a very rare commodity. And you might say, no one can afford it. That's not true. There's people out there that buy $30 million things every day.
Hey, Nico.
Yes.
If XRP is delisted and you own it on Phemex, will it still be there or where will it be?
It depends on, I guess, the supply or the quantity available or the supply. I mean, can they settle transactions? Is there enough supply to settle the transactions?
Or stake it.
Say that again.
Stake, or they'll stake it. I think Robin last Friday sent me an email that I would have to comply with their crypto if I decide to stay with my crypto. That they later in the future they may be able to stake it and give me bonus points or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, if XRP or anything got delisted, guys, it just means that it's no longer available on that exchange for trading. You cannot buy or sell on that exchange anymore, but you can still move it to another exchange that does list it, or to a wallet that accepts XRP. You can convert it to another crypto. So let's just say it's delisted, but it's $1,000 per coin, and you can't sell it. You can convert it to USDT or Bitcoin at that point.
Okay, so it's still in your Phemex account.
Yeah, so you would still have it either in your wallet, or what you don't want, what you don't want is to have it on a major exchange that does delist it. What would happen to your actually, that has happened. It actually happened to XRP, actually. If we go back to 2017, XRP was delisted from Coinbase and a few others when they were having their SEC problem. Some of you might remember that. And they did delist it, and whatever you had on there stayed there, but you couldn't sell it or do anything with it on that exchange. And then when they relisted it, it was back available and at the higher price.
If you have it on a cold storage wallet like Decent or the other ones, can you trade it from there?
You can. You just have to move it to an exchange that will accept it, or still it's not delisted from. It again, I think it'll be a high commodity at that point, and I think other people will want it, and you'd be able to sell it or trade it for other things of value.
It all depends on your wallet, who are they doing business with,
Yes.
on the
that,
market.
Right. And not only that, guys, but when delisting happens, you do have an opportunity to sell. It's not like they just do it to you overnight and don't give you any choices. You have a window. They usually have a window where they're letting you know that it's going to be delisted on such and such date. This is what you need to do. You either need to convert it, sell it, or move it.
But if the price is going to keep going up, wouldn't you want to just hold on it and borrow against it?
I would think yes. There are financial services out there that, for instance, that Jake Klaver guy's company, and some other people out there that do that, where they will custody it for you. And if all those things happen that you're talking about, you would be making money from it. You would be loaning against it. You would be staking it. You would be getting a ROI by letting the institutions use it. Carlithols. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I use Decent, the letter D, CENT. I have a link in our Discord group. Pat, that is a referral link. It's I don't think you get a discount. I think you get $10 or something like that worth of crypto, or I don't know. I might get $10. I don't know. It's a referral link. You don't have to use it. You can go Google Decent and go find their platform and order it from there if you want. If you use my referral link, I think I get $10. It's certainly nothing I'm getting rich on. It's just trying to give you guys a place to use the same wallet I use if you want.
Hey, Nico, with a coin that's really chaotic like Jelly, how well does the standards, the normal processes that you look for, how much does that hold true to something that's chaotic like that? Does it not really apply until it levels out and becomes more normal?
Yeah, it's a good question. The truth is that when you have it's not really a new listing. It's been around for a little while. Let's see. Let's go back. When was it listed here? March of 2025. So it hasn't really been listed for long, and it's gone sideways for the most part and just recently started to climb. It doesn't have much price action or price history. So like with Bitcoin, you can see years of price history, right? And you can see support and resistance levels going back for a long time. This is kind of relatively new, but it is in a upward trending resistance line from beginning of September. So we have 2 months at least of upward trending resistance and support. And it's still coming up to the top right now. This is where I said I wouldn't necessarily go long, but if it breaks out of here, then it could be finally breaking out. But if it continues to do the same thing it's doing here, then it might just hit this and come back down and continue in this channel. But I personally don't like to trade things that have hardly any price history or are chaotic and really don't serve a purpose. I don't know what Jelly does. I don't know what its main thing is. Let me, I could do a little research on it right now and tell you my thoughts on it. But me personally, guys, you can trade whatever you want. Me personally, I like to trade things that I think are going to be around for a long time and survive the big shakeout. And what I mean by that are the majors. So we got XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, HBAR, XLM. These are the ones that I think are going to survive all of this chaos and this transformation into the digital age. And so I just want to have more of those tokens. I don't really care to have Jelly or Fart Coin or any of these other ones. They don't really serve. I don't, unless they're, if it's a meme token, then I don't believe that it's going to serve any purpose in the long run. Then why do I really want it? Store a bunch of it. And the reason why you would, like Dogecoin, for instance, is because what if it goes up in value? Well, what's going to make it go up in value? This is what you have to think about. What is it that's causing this spike? Go look it up. I don't know. Jelly. Is it Jelly My Jelly? Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's not available on major exchanges. It's not available on centralized exchanges. So that doesn't mean you can't make money on it, but it's got $167 million of volume in the last 20 hours. The market cap's 160 million. 100% of the total supply, 1 billion. There's 1 billion Jelly tokens that exist. But what is it? What is the purpose of it? Let's go. Money and moments. Join waitlist. On Jelly, you share authentic moments and reactions taking place in your life. We make you quickly forget about edits, filters, and the best part is every moment is instantly monetizable. So it's an app that allows you to post videos and things like that. And apparently you make money in Jelly tokens. Instantly monetize your jellies. Your videos are called jellies, and you monetize in crypto. Okay, and you can share on TikTok or whatever, and I guess you get paid in the amount of views you get and stuff. So okay, so it's an app. So it's got some kind of purpose. It's not a shit coin. It's not a meme token. It actually has an app behind it. So is there potential for it? Yeah, probably. It could take off, especially if a lot of TikTokers and people like that start using it. And it is taking off. I mean, it's up 163% just today.
It was listed on Aster. I put it in the chat. It was listed on Aster this morning. And you know, Aster was pumped up by CZ, I guess, what was it, yesterday, today? So
yeah. Evernorth, Chris Larson's. Oh, that's that was yeah, Chris Larson selling his crypto.
Nico, with the Descent wallet, the biometric versus the wallet, the card, which one are they the same? Do they do the
I
same?
use the biometric. It's like a little device that you put your thumbprint on. It scans your thumbprint, which is the only way you can deposit and withdraw out of the app is by using your thumbprint.
Okay, and the card, I know that doesn't have biometrics, but does it also hold your crypto?
I think the card is something, it's like it has the chip in it, the biometric chip in it that you have to have near the app, or the app needs to detect the card via Bluetooth or something like that in order to allow anybody. So in other words, if someone steals your phone and they log into your app, they can't move any crypto in or out unless they have the card or your biometric thumbprint on the other thing. So it does
Thank you.
take both of those to move the crypto around. Go to the website, read about it. It's one of the better ones out right now, I think. Until we get to a quantum level, I don't think there is any quantum wallets yet. I mean, somebody said there was, but I don't know what there is, if there is. And all that just means is that everybody's worried about a quantum computer eventually coming out. Somebody's going to eventually invent the quantum computer that's so smart, it's going to figure out everybody's passwords and it's going to hack everybody's account. Right? But I'm not so sure that's going to happen.
Thank you, Nico.
Hey,
Yeah, I
Nico,
mean-
that Chris Larson sale. Did you see the Treasury company they're talking about buying it? I think they're raising like 1 billion, and they're talking about buying on the open market, not OTC. So what do you think that'll do for the price of XRP if it does?
Probably $10, $20.
Hmm,
No, $1 billion isn't going to move the market that much on XRP.
not that much.
I don't
Okay.
think $1 billion is going to move the market that much. If someone's bought $1 billion with XRP on the open market right now, but tens of billions, hundreds of billions coming into the market, which is going to happen when the XRPs go. I mean, not the XRPs, the ETFs go live. They're going to use up they're probably going to use up Ripple's XRP on their ledger first, and then they're going to have to buy on the open market. I think that's when we see it $10, $20, $25, maybe $50 XRP. You know, a lot of people say, well, when Bitcoin's XRP, why do I keep saying XRP? When Bitcoin's ETF started, nothing happened to the price. But that was at 73K. Okay. We went up to 126K since then. So that is less than a 2x, but if we 2x, we'll be at $5-6. I think probably 750 to $10 by the end of this year is probably more feasible.
Yep.
But I'm not. I know a lot of people think I'm like really bullish on XRP, but it's not because I'm part of the XRP army and I just believe that it's going to do something someday. It's because of all of the infrastructure that's in place surrounding Ripple technology and cross-chain border transactions and settlements of assets and purchases and transactions around the world that are all switching over to the digitized networks, and XRP is the leader, the forefront of all that. So is it going to get the entire market? Probably not, but it doesn't need to. If it gets 15% of the market, if we're looking at 1,000, it needs to be $1,000 or more in order to handle that kind of transactions and volumes. This is not hopium. This is math. And a lot of people say, yeah, but a lot of things have to happen for that to happen. True. A lot of things have to happen for that to happen. But all of those things that have to happen are being put in place. It's not a matter of if they're going to happen. I think it's a matter of when. I think it's inevitable. I think it's happening. So I'm just being prepared for it. I'm just getting ahead of it. And I just rather accumulate a lot of it while it's still under $3. If it never happens, guys, okay, I'll get out. I'll liquidate. If something else happens and they change up, then that'll be it. But if it does, if XRP goes to $100, $250, which it has to do in order for it to get to 1,000, it has to hit these other numbers first. $10, $15, $25, $50. Then you're looking at let's just say $50. I mean, some of us will have millions of dollars worth of XRP if it just gets to $50, let alone 200 or 1,000. I mean, that would just be ridiculous money at that point. But guys, just think about this. Bitcoin about 6 years ago. Anybody want to tell me what the price was? BTC price 2018.
It was about 3,000, I think, at one point.
Yeah, it actually got up to like 17K and then came all the way back down to 3,700 at the end of that year. Okay, I think I didn't go back long enough. Let's say 2017, 1 year before that, before it popped up.
Yeah, Nico, that was actually because options trading became available on the Chicago Board Exchange. And that's what pumped that up. Same thing with Ethereum a couple of years ago when it pumped up to its all-time high. It became available for options trading. So that's what was pushing the markets.
Yeah, and that's going to happen to XRP and derivatives and ETFs. All of that's coming. It's already in the works. So it's the same thing. It's just the reason why I think it was delayed, obviously, was because of the legal battle that it went through with the SEC, and it delayed XRP like 7 years, 8 years. It would have probably been rising along with Bitcoin and Ethereum during that time, but it was thwarted, so to speak, but possibly intentionally, because maybe they were putting the brakes on. Maybe it was made to look like it was going through a legal battle just to keep the price low while they got all their ducks in order, because nothing is by accident. And if it's going to be the replacement for the major financial institutions in the crypto space, the Ripple network, and they've been working on this for a long time, Bitcoin 2.0, maybe even the same creators going back 10 years, 12 years since 2013, when XRP and Ripple first started. Most people don't realize that it's that old. And people say, yeah, but it's only $3. It's never done it. There's a reason why it hasn't. And all of that was just cleared recently. And what happened when it was cleared? We went from 15 cents to 49 cents to $1.80 to $2 all the way up to $3.80 very quickly in just this last year. So it's already 7x'd in the last year from 49 cents up in a year and a half, right? So what if it's 7x's again? Don't you think it will? I mean, everything else has. Bitcoin, all the other ones, even Solana's, what is that right now? By the way, guys, onboarding for new people, if you're new, get on the onboarding call. Bill already posted the link in this chat. It's also in I apologize if I didn't mention that earlier. If you are still on this call and you're brand new, get on the onboarding call. You should already have the link for that. Started at 2 p.m., which is 7 minutes ago. Hop on there. I didn't mention anything about the little incident that happened the other day, but I wasn't going to. I forgot about it. But just so you guys know, we're not mad if anybody wants to make money or wants to inquire when they see other people in our group posting in the wins wall outrageous gains, and you want to send them a DM and ask them what their strategy is. That's great. But if someone in our group wants to create their own group, that's also fine. Go ahead, knock yourself out, create your own program, go teach people. But if you're doing it inside of our group and charging our members and basically poaching members and getting members from our group to join your group so you can charge them money and we find out about it, you will be kicked out of our group. I mean, first of all, and then it's not even that. It's not even that simple. It's the way it was being done, guys. It was being done, and the rudeness. I mean, the audacity of the person doing it was like, bring more people from Crypto Renegades. Bring them all. Bring them all. And if you don't bring anybody, then what are you worth? You're not worth anything to me if you can't bring any referrals from Crypto Renegades. It was that kind of DMs going out to people from this person. Like, go advertise yourself. If you're so good at what you do, go start your own program and run ads and generate leads of people who want to join your group. But to do it in the capacity of taking them from this group, and some people were naively joining or wanting to pay this person, thinking that that was okay. And again, I don't care what you do. Everybody's free to go. You can join 1 million groups if you want, but don't do it inside our group. When people join this group, they're putting their trust and faith in learning strategies and techniques. And if there's somebody in our group that's doing something shady and they end up getting talked to or talked into doing something by that person, and this has happened before, guys, it's probably going to happen again. There's people that will DM you or you'll DM and they'll try to talk you into joining some other thing. If you want my opinion on it, feel free to DM me before you just go join it. But if you join it, that's on you, not us. We're not advocating that. We're warning you against that, actually. I'm telling you right now, you shouldn't do that. And they shouldn't be trying to convince you to do that. To me, that's very scammy. That's very, shady. It's not cool. I wouldn't do it. I would say about 20 people, Edwin, were involved, maybe less, maybe 15. And then those people, once they were called out or asked about it, they started turning on each other and blaming the other person, blaming this person and that person. And again, guys, I'm not here to name names or call anybody out. I understand we all want to make more money. And if someone in the group says, hey, I can help you make more than these guys are teaching, but I got a special way of doing things. Do it my way. You'll make a lot more money. I'm only charging $150 a month for my signals. And really what they're teaching you is how to not use stop losses, how to use 100, 200 to 500x leverage and possibly risk, blowing up your account for possibly crazy. And all of those screenshots that this person was using, guys, it's very easy to see when you understand what to look for. They were 500x leverage on MEXC, 1,000% gains, looks very impressive, but they were making pennies. They were trading with hardly any money. So what are you risking when you go long with 500x leverage and you're only trading with $1? What are you risking? Nothing. Oh, you went 500x. I made $5. Yeah, you made 500% gain. Great. Turn your dollar into 5. But you can't see that because all you see is the percentage gain. And so he was enticing people to come over because they couldn't believe those crazy returns, those ROIs. But really, there was no money being made. No real money.
Hey,
Anyway,
Nico, I missed the first hour. What did you say about XRP? Where you think it's headed?
I mean, eventually, ultimately, I would say, based on everything I've heard and some of the conferences I've listened to and the Fed chair talking about, switching everything over to the digital banking system and knowing that these people are meeting with Garlinghouse and the Ripple people, they're all part of it. They're all behind the scenes meeting with presidents and leaders of countries and putting things into place. I personally would not be surprised if XRP gets to $1,000. When, I don't know. But I don't think it's going to take as long as it took Bitcoin, because I think that all of that has already been in the works. And all it's a matter of doing is getting all the ducks in order before it's going to be more like a switch is being flipped. Now, a lot of people say, well, yeah, but no matter what's being said, no matter what they say, no matter what they're talking about, no matter how positive everything is, the price still stays $3. Never gets more than that. That's true. Go sell it. Go sell it then. Get out. I don't know what to tell
Nico,
you.
do you know when the ETFs for XRP are going to launch?
I think that decisions were supposed to be made on several of them already by now. Let's go Let me just go into my channel here because I did post it. Hold on one second.
Government shutdown is slowing it down.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got some I'm sure we got some XRP people on this call that are much more
Out there waiting for their clarity
knowledgeable than I am.
Yeah.
SEC has announced 6 XRP ETF decision deadlines. Q4, Grayscale, 21 shares, Bitwise, Canary Capital, Wisdom Tree, Franklin. These are the deadlines, decision deadlines on these. So the time has already come and passed on some of them, most of them. But there is a government shutdown. I'm not sure exactly how that's affecting things or what's been decided here, but I know they will get approved, and I know that there's billions of dollars on the line. And these people right here, the Grayscales and the Bitwises and the Canary Capitals of the world, guys, they had the same problem with Bitcoin in the beginning when they were filing for these ETFs, and they were not getting approved, and then a week later they were getting approved. It's usually just fine print in the paperwork.
So it's imminent then.
I think it's imminent. Yes.
No, I meant like for the rest of the week.
The rest of what?
I meant like, what was your outlook for XRP just for like the rest of the week?
Oh, the week. Yeah. I mean, it's still correlating with Bitcoin right now. So until it decouples from Bitcoin, the big things aren't going to happen. So it could drop. Let's see right now. It's dropping right now. It hit this resistance, came all the way down, and then retested this line. As I was saying earlier on this call, it needs to break out above these and get above this in order to get back up into new high territory. But this is downward trending. It's coming down to this level. It looks like it might bounce here, but it could go sideways before it breaks out. But if Bitcoin drops down to where I think it might, we could see a retest probably somewhere down here in these lows, somewhere as low as we could. Yeah, I mean, sure. We could even double bottom back down here again. Is that possible? Everything is possible. All I know is that if we were to slowly grind down to this level again, or even quickly, if I'm paying attention when it happens, I will have another 50,000, 20,000 XRP. I'm more of a longer term thinker on this now than I was. I mean, I'm not worried about these little dips. I'm holding through them. Some people might say, well, wouldn't it be better to sell when it gets up here to, $3.20 again, or $3.80 and then buy it back? Yeah, if you had a crystal ball and you knew exactly when that was going to happen. But if you know it's going to go to $5, $10 or more, then
Yeah,
why
but
not?
Nico, Peter Lynch said a long time ago, he said, if you had to time the markets, he's like, out of the ups and downs in the same course of a year, maybe 3 or 5 days that are the moves. So for, like you said, long term, being in the market. I mean, I've been in Bitcoin a long time. One of the things you talked about being almost 20,000 back in 2017, 2018. I got, it forked a couple of times. So Bitcoin Cash at that time that they gave me for free was $900. And the Bitcoin SV is not so good. But I mean, so if you accumulated that much, a good amount of Bitcoin back then, you got Bitcoin Cash, and you could have been same thing, XRP. You don't know, at some point they might, hey, we're gonna fork this over to something else. So it's more efficient to work in the system, and then they may give you something else. So you don't really know, but holding on to some of these things, and then, not being in and out of the market. I'm kind of like, a long-term trader. I do short-term things, but that's why I'm in this, to like kind of do some things for.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do. I trade Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, the majors, and I scalp, but I'm usually trading on a coin margin because I'm trying to accumulate more of them. I'm not trading to make cash so that I can pay my bills. I have income coming from other sources. I have real estate, I have rental properties, things like that. I'm fortunate enough to be in that situation where I can trade to accumulate crypto. And if you're in that situation, then the goal for me is to have as much of it as possible before price appreciation happens. And I just think the price appreciation is inevitable. I mean, who would have thought that Bitcoin would be $100,000 10 years ago? oh, wait, I probably posted something about that. I probably told some friends that it's going to go, that it probably will happen. But most people don't. Most people never thought that it would go that high. And I didn't know that it was going to. I just believed that it was based on what was going to happen. Now you got people like, you know, Michael Saylor and billion-dollar hedge funds all piling into it with billions of dollars. And 13 of the largest hedge funds in the world have Bitcoin ETFs worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. And it's like, holy cow, man, it's really turning into something. Then you got a president of the United States saying they're going to use a Bitcoin reserve. He guaranteed to buy 1 million Bitcoins over the next 5 years. That's $100 billion worth at $100,000 each. Obviously, if they did do that, the price would continue to go up. So it wouldn't be necessarily, it would still be 1 million, but the price would be way $100 billion worth. But XRP, there is no doubt in my mind. I mean, it is one of the most utilitarian, purpose-driven cryptos that actually is able to do something, whereas Bitcoin can't do anything that XRP is doing. I mean, you want to buy a hamburger with Bitcoin, you're going to have to sit in the hamburger shop for 25 minutes, 30 minutes until it clears. You can do it. You can buy things with it. You can certainly transfer it to someone in exchange for something. I mean, I bought a watch with Bitcoin, a nice one, from a friend of mine who also likes Bitcoin. So it's easy to buy things from people who want crypto. But is it going to be used for anything other than a store of wealth? Not with the likes of XRP, because XRP is lightning fast. XLM, I mean, send XLM from Coinbase to your cold storage wallet. By the time you even click a button to go see if it's there, it's there. Try that with Bitcoin. Try that with Ethereum. Try that with anything. XRP, XLM, these things move lightning speed. That's why they're going to be used. That's why they're going to probably be the main things that most of the big financial institutions use to clear transactions. And they need to either create their own blockchain to do it, or they're going to use somebody else's technology that's already there. And it seems to me that XRP is already in conversation, and not just conversation, but guys, these things are already being put into place for a long time now. I think it's inevitable. That's me personally. I have a lot of it. I'm hoping that it goes to shit. I'm pretty confident it'll go to $10 and then 20 and then 30 and then 50, but I'm not going to sell it. And if it gets to $1,000, I'm going to loan it to institutions and borrow against it and create cash flow from it.
Nobody.
That's what I'm going to do.
How much lower do you think it'll go, Nico?
I mean, what I'm drawing here on the chart here is what I think could happen. I mean, this is the overall downward trending channel that we're in. We could come down to this circle right here. That would be the bottom trending support line, and this support line here, which is basically after this big dump that we had on the 10th, is where we held support right here. Boom, with that green candle. And then we hit that same upward trend line right here, and then here, and then we just broke out of that to the downside. So if we stay in this downward trending falling wedge and we hit somewhere in this area, if Bitcoin continues to go down, I could see that happening. It would be probably right where these two cross. Whoops. $2.10, $2.15 probably at the low end. I don't think it's going to drop all the way down to here, but if it does, that would be $1.25 again, and that would be a double bottom. But look what happened last time it did, guys. A lot of people are like, oh, that's crazy how much value it lost, but it was immediately sucked back up. 2.3 or 3.4, I can't remember what it was, billion came right back in and pumped it right back up. $3.4 billion pumped it right back up.
At this point, do you think it's best to just DCA?
Yes. Yeah, I don't trade with much. I'm not using a huge amount of XRP. I have maybe 1,000 XRP in my trading account. On a if I'm trading on an XRP margin, and I will probably go long there on XRP when that happens. But I would just buy more in my holding account in my cold storage wallet or on Coinbase to send it there. That's generally what I do. Every time it dips down, I just buy more. I think anything under $3 is a steal for it, to be honest with you. Because listen, I think XRP right now at $3 or less is like Bitcoin at $13, $15, $20.
Cool. Thank you, man.
That's my opinion. And I really don't care what anybody thinks. I know there's people that just think it's a never ending being led, led carrot dangling a situation. But there is a means to an end, and there is something happening. There's something brewing with XRP that had to clear regulation, had to clear the SEC, had to clear a lot of things first. But they are the only major crypto company. And when I say, I mean, like, just look at Ethereum, look at their competitors that are actually spending billions of dollars on their own infrastructure to be able to handle transactions for governments and states and countries, for the world financial networks. So the Swift network and things like that. They're not trying to work with Swift. They're trying to take over. Let's see. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. You are more than welcome. I'm just reading some questions. Sam, best to wait for BTC to fall through 106, come back to retest 106 as resistance and continue to fall. It could break 106 and come back above 106, trapping you in a short. Wait for retest. Yes, I agree. I agree. That's what I was saying earlier. I am short, but I am, if it goes below 106 and holds, I'm going to increase my contracts. I will post an additional signal when I enter it, when I reverse my long position. If that happens on USDT, I will post that as a new signal anyway, just so you guys know if it does fall below the 106. Because if it does, guys, it's going to go to 98. It's going to do that. And that would be, you don't even have to short it. You can just wait for the bounce. That would be a safe entry. That would be a real safe entry, I think, done at 98, 97, 98. Unless it falls through that. If it falls through that, guys, then we're gonna fill the CME gap. And I will tell you then 91, 92K, that will be one of the better entries of the year. That'll probably be the last lowest price you can buy it at before a big pump to the upside. William asks, where is actually the best place to actually buy XRP or others at the moment? I personally, I'm not like, I mean, there's a lot of places to buy, but I buy on Coinbase. It's just easier. I'm already been set up with them for over 10 years now, it seems like. Yeah, 10 years at least. And so if you're trying to hide everything you do, if you're trying to stay decentralized, there are places you can buy stuff that are more private and in the decentralized space, but I've been on centralized exchanges for a long time. I have a lot of businesses that I run. I have accountants and CPAs that deal with all that. I just do everything by the current book because I don't want to deal with it. I want to sleep at night. I don't want to worry about it. Could I be saving a lot of money not doing that? Probably. But that's just me, so I don't worry about it. But moving it from there to a cold storage wallet is your next thing. And I do also leave some on Coinbase, guys. If I'm going to be totally transparent with you, I don't really hide that. I mean, I do have. I don't like to keep all my eggs in one basket. I like to leave some on exchange too, just in case, just to see what happens. If there's huge price appreciation on XRP, let's just say XRP went overnight to $1,000. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but let's say it did. I will at least find out what happens to my XRP on Coinbase. Don't think they're going to steal it from me. They never have yet. Never had a problem moving big amounts off of Coinbase or back on. I personally don't have a problem with them. Some people have had issues, but usually when I hear the issue and I really dig deep into what the issue was, it's usually somebody who used a private wallet, accidentally logged into Coinbase from their VPN. Coinbase will block you if you do that. They are totally strict KYC. They need to know who you are. It's a centralized exchange, publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. I'm not worried about them stealing my crypto. Now, if they want my XRP and they don't want to allow anybody to buy it anymore, then they will buy it from me. They will just give me the equal value of it. That's what will have to happen legally. A lot of people hear all these videos out there. Oh, they'll steal it from you. They'll just take it from you if they want it. Yeah, I don't think so. Could be wrong, but I guess I'll find out. Yeah, I mean they're a big fish, guys. I mean, look at it. You also got Binance. You got Binance.com, Binance token, Binance US, Binance UK, whatever. Donald Trump just pardoned the previous founder of Binance token. I mean, what president, what administration in history is so involved in crypto? It's crazy. You got Donald Trump's sons talking about $10 million Bitcoin publicly, live. They were debanked. You know what that means? Debanked. They were, because the Biden administration was so against Trump, they literally debanked his whole family, meaning they weren't allowed to get loans anymore from banks. They were having a problem. So what did they do? They started their own crypto exchange. Can't debank them now. If that's any indication of where we're headed. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up. It looks like we're just kind of slowly consolidating. Bitcoin is 106.9 right now. It possibly is going to drop a little further. If it gets below this 106.3, 106, I would say 106, and holds it as resistance. This is what it will look like real quick before I wrap this up. You could just draw a line right at 106 right here. This is the support. Falls below this, retest as resistance, then we would probably just have a continuation of lower highs and lower lows. Let me just do it a little bit more precise. And then this next line down here, guys, that's the 98K. 98.3. But it would need to break this 106. And if it bounces here and breaks this downward trending resistance on the 1 hour and climbs back up and gets above, somehow gets above this, which is a couple things. It's like there's like a trifecta of things happening here. We have a horizontal resistance at 112. We have a downward trending resistance going from the top all the way down. And we have this upward trending support line right here coming all the way back from and then hitting right there. If it gets above all of that little area right there, at the 112, then we're probably not going to drop. That's what would have to happen in my eyes. So it would have to get above that and hold a support on 112, then we're going up. But if it winds into this little apex that we're in right now and falls below, then we're probably going to come down to this little corner right here. Jeez, come on. And this makes more sense because this is the upward trending, the circle right here. Upward trending support going all the way back to the beginning of the bull market. And this horizontal line at the 98K coming together right there. And this is where we're at right here. If we fall through that, we're probably going to come and touch this. And if we wick down to this red line, that would fill the CME gap and then we'd be off to the races. So those are the possibilities. And I will let you know if I see anything like that happening. Got to run now, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Also, tomorrow we're doing our public webinar tomorrow, Wednesday instead of Thursday. So you guys are more than welcome to get on there if you want. I'll be trading live again. Just look for the link in the free Facebook group or ask for it in the main chat in the Discord, and we'll post it by tomorrow. If you guys want to jump on that, if any of you want to give a testimonial or talk about the group at all, feel free to message me or jump on there and just let us know. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Again, get on the onboarding and get on this coming Wednesday's call with me. And then right after that is the basics call with Bill. All right, have a great rest of your day. Tune in and we'll get you making money here soon. We're about to do something big, guys. We're either going to drop down to support and it'll be a great opportunity to enter long. And then we have about a month and 20 days of the bull market, in my opinion, to hit a new all-time high. All right, guys, Wednesday, tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry. What is today? Monday? Yes, I'm sorry. Liga, thank you I meant Wednesday. Our live call our webinar will be Wednesday instead of Thursday, not tomorrow. Thank you though for bringing that up. Not tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night.